If you've ever wondered what kind of investment account should I open, or you've been stuck between a brokerage account, a Roth IRA, a 401k, 403b, an HSA, or even a 529 plan, this video should hopefully guide you in the right direction. Because here's the issue. Most people think investing is just picking a stock like Apple, Tesla, Google, or whichever stock that you like that week. But that's not everything. You also need to look at the right account type, because the account determines things like how taxes work, how withdrawals work, whether you get free money with employer matching, and whether your money is flexible or locked up in a specific purpose. So in this video, every major investment account gets broken down in plain English: what it's for, who qualifies, the pros and cons of that account, and the simplest way to choose what to open first. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clean account ladder that makes it obvious what to prioritize. But before we dive into the accounts, I do have to give a brief disclaimer. This video is educational and for general information only. It's not tax advice, legal advice, or individualized investment advice. Account rules can change, and your situation matters. So double check details with official resources or a qualified professional. Now, let's dive in. Before going account by account, here's the framework. Every investment account falls into one of three buckets. Bucket number one, retirement accounts. These are for long-term wealth and tax-advantaged accounts. Then you have bucket number two, flexible investing accounts, usually taxable, but you can use the money whenever you want. And bucket number three, purpose-built accounts. These are accounts designed for specific goals like healthcare costs and education. Now, this is the easiest way to understand the whole ecosystem. Experian organizes accounts similarly in retirement, brokerage, education, and HSA categories. So let's start with the most common account that people invest in. Number one, taxable brokerage account, aka the regular investing account. A brokerage account is the standard investing account when you can buy things like stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, crypto, precious metals. It's the open freedom account, meaning it doesn't have the retirement restrictions that accounts like IRAs and 401ks do. So first, let's cover who qualifies for this account. Almost anyone. Generally, you just need to be of legal age, have identification, and meet the brokerage's requirements. Super simple. Some of the benefits, the pros of this account. The biggest benefit that you'll see is flexibility. Money can typically be withdrawn at any time without penalties like retirement accounts. It works for any goal, whether it be house down payment, early retirement bridge until your retirement accounts kick in, business funding, your future you. Now, there are some drawbacks though, but here are the cons. Taxes and risk. Inside of a brokerage account, your investing activity can create taxable events, depending on what you buy and sell and how long you hold it. And remember, there is no guarantee that stock prices will always go up. In 2022, the S&P 500 lost 18%, but the subsequent 2 years rallied hard in the 20+% range. So I just want you to know the average is between 6 and 12%. And know that, and that nothing is guaranteed. So here's your big takeaway for brokerage accounts. They are incredible after the core retirement accounts are being handled, or when money needs to stay flexible. If you haven't set up a brokerage account already, I have a video going through step-by-step on how to do it inside of Fidelity if you're interested. I'll put a link down in the description for you. Number two, employer-sponsored retirement accounts. These are the accounts that most people understand first because they're often the easiest wealth accelerators. Let's start with the 401k. A 401k is a retirement plan offered by an employer that allows employees to contribute from their paycheck. Pretty easy. Some employers match contributions, and that match can be a massive advantage. It is 100% free money. Then you have your 403b. A 403b is similar to a 401k, but typically for employees of public schools, certain nonprofits, and similar organizations. In 2026, the annual contribution limit for employees who participate in these plans, the 401k and the 403b, a governmental 457 plan, and the federal government's thrift savings plan if you're in the military, it increased to $24,500 or $32,500 if you're over the age of 50. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you should invest as much as you can into this account. We'll cover why later in the video. So let's cover who qualifies. You qualify if your employer offers it as a benefit and you meet their plan's eligibility rules. Usually it's time employed and hours worked. So here are the pros for these accounts. You get your potential employer match. Take it if you can. It is free money. Then there's the deduction that comes straight from your paycheck, making it automatic. And then you get tax advantages, depending on whether it's a traditional or Roth style plan. Now, here are the cons, the drawbacks. Limited investments compared to a brokerage account. You don't get as many options. Withdrawal rules and penalties may apply if you pull money out early. And you want to double check the fees, as sometimes these fees inside the plan are higher than you traditionally find in another retirement plan. The biggest takeaway for these, if there is a match, it's usually the first priority because it's one of the few guaranteed wins left in personal finance. Now let's hit the most common next level accounts, your IRAs or individual retirement arrangements. Let's cover the two simplest types that you'll find. So first, there's your traditional IRA. A traditional IRA may offer tax-deferred benefits up front and then withdrawals are taxed later. It generally requires a minimum amount of money to be withdrawn at age 73. So even if you don't want to, just know that these are called RMDs or required minimum distributions. These are the biggest differences between the traditional IRA and our next one. A Roth IRA is funded with after-tax money, and there are certain rules where qualified withdrawals can be tax-free later. Vanguard highlights that Roth IRA benefits like tax-free qualified withdrawals and flexibility are relative to employer plans. Now, when it comes to IRAs, you can't contribute as much as the employer-sponsored accounts like your 401k or your 403b. The IRA contribution limits for 2026 are $7,500 for those of us under the age of 50 and $8,600 for those age 50 and older, or equal to your earned income if you make less than those limits. So let's cover the pros of these types of accounts. You get strong tax advantages. You have more investment choice than many other employer plans, and these can be the cornerstone of your long-term investing plan. Now let's cover the drawbacks, the cons. The annual contribution limits. You don't get to invest as much as you'd like. Roth eligibility phases out at a higher income level, but there is a workaround. And then your withdrawals have rules, especially on earnings, so these are not as liquid as a brokerage account. Now, when it comes to who qualifies, IRAs generally require earned income, and Roth IRAs also have income limits that affect your eligibility, even though there's a workaround called the backdoor Roth IRA. If you do make over the income limit, or think you do, I made a video on how to perform the conversion inside of Fidelity. I'll put a link to that video down in the description below. Now, here's the takeaway. An IRA is often where someone goes to build retirement investing that isn't tied to an employer, but it also has a spot even if you have an employer-sponsored plan. If you are self-employed, run a small business, or have side hustle income, there are additional account types designed just for you. First, let's cover the SEP IRA, or Simplified Employee Pension, often used by self-employed people in small businesses up to 4 people. This account can be low maintenance, give tax deductions, and also allows you to contribute much more money than other accounts. For 2026, you're allowed to contribute 25% of your income up to $72,000. Then there's your Simple IRA or your Simple 401k. These are savings incentive match plan for employees. Simple. These are designed for small employers up to 100 employees. Let's cover the benefits of a Fidelity Simple IRA. Number 1, team up for tax savings. Both employers and employees enjoy tax-deductible contributions, plus tax-deferred growth. Number 2, adaptable to your employer's needs. Flexibility to change your employer contribution annually as needed. Number 3, grow as your business grows. You can easily add up to 100 employees to your plan. Now, these change, but for 2026, the basic Simple IRA employee contribution limit is $17,000. Those aged 50 to 59 or 64 and older can save an additional $4,000 as a catch-up contribution. Those between the ages of 60 to 63 can save $5,250 as a super catch-up contribution. So under the Secure Act 2.0, employees of companies with 25 or fewer employees may now contribute more than the basic limits. For these employees, the contribution limit is $18,100. The catch-up limit is $3,850 for those between the ages of 50 to 59 or 64 and older, but remains $5,250 for those between the ages of 60 and 63. One thing to know, if you also contribute to another employer-sponsored retirement plan like a 401k or 403b, the total that you can save as an employee across all those plans, including your Simple IRAs, is different than what we briefly discussed in the simple IRAs. So just go check it out. These are very similar to what you would see as the 401k or 403b contribution limits, but just go check it out, because as we get older, as legislation changes, these will fluctuate. So just go double check. For you business owners out there are ways to structure how you pay your employees and how much to match. So do some research or consult a professional to make sure that you get it right. Which brings us to the next one, a solo 401k. A 401k designed for self-employed individuals with no employees other than a spouse, depending on circumstances. Now, there are benefits to this account. Your contributions up to $72,000 for 2026 from both the employer and the employee side combined. So plus you get catch-up options for if you're 50 years or older. You can also cut your income taxes. You can deduct traditional 401k contributions from your business and personal tax returns. And you get tax-free growth potential. Your investments have the potential for tax-free growth until withdrawal. And some plan providers like Fidelity even offer a Roth option where you can make after-tax contributions that may grow and be withdrawn tax-free if requirements are met. Now, there are a few drawbacks to this account. There is more admin complexity. It's just more paperwork, more things to juggle. Rules matter a lot, like deadlines and employer-employee contribution treatment, to just name a few. Now, the key takeaway for this one is once your self-employment income becomes consistent, these accounts are so powerful. The setup needs to be done correctly. So just do your homework or hire a professional. Number 5, an HSA or health savings account, and this is the AKA the stealth investing account. A lot of people miss this. An HSA can function like an investing account, not just something used for medical expenses. If you invest the balance and follow the rules. Experian includes HSAs in the major categories of investment accounts because of their tax advantages. So let's cover who qualifies. Typically, you have to be enrolled in a qualified high deductible healthcare plan or an HDHP, and you have to meet all their other requirements. So if you normally go for their low deductible healthcare plan, pairing the high deductible alternative with an HSA usually is a better option. Now let's cover the pros of this account. HSAs are typically described as triple tax advantage in many financial education contexts, meaning you can take a tax deduction, putting the money in, it grows tax-free, and it can come out tax-free for qualified expenses, which have even been documented as including home gym equipment, your monthly gym payment, dental, vision. There's a ton of other things. Another pro is that it's touted online as the ability to buy these health-related services or items now, but choosing to be reimbursed from the HSA later down the road so the funds inside the account can grow tax-free faster and still come out tax-free. This is one of those accounts you should consult with a qualified professional. They know a ton about how to set it up correctly for you and use it in your everyday life. Just know there are a few cons or drawbacks to this account. You must have an eligible healthcare plan, and the rules on withdrawals and documentation matters, meaning not everyone can use it. Number 6, a 529 education savings plan. A 529 plan is designed for education savings and can offer tax advantage growth when used for qualified educational expenses. Fidelity and the IRS both explain that 529 plans are education-focused accounts with special tax treatment. So important info to know. Some states, like Iowa, the one I live in, give tax benefits when you invest in their state-specific 529 plans. For 2026, there is an annual deduction limit of $6,100 per beneficiary for single taxpayers or $12,200 per beneficiary for taxpayers filing married jointly. The tax deduction is for eligible contributions made by the resident of the state who is the owner of the 529 account. Contribution deadlines for qualifying for above the tax benefits are usually April 30th of the following tax year. If you want to keep all your accounts inside of one place, brokerages like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and Vanguard also offer 529 plans. So let's cover who qualifies. Generally, anyone can open one, and you have to designate a beneficiary of the account. So per collegesavings.org, they state each 529 plan allows for one beneficiary at a time. So if you have multiple children, like I do, you can open multiple accounts for each child or change the beneficiary each time later down the road, which to me is a headache. Now let's cover the benefits of these accounts. You get tax advantages when used properly. Per the IRS, these can include tuition, fees, books, room and board, and even computer technology and equipment, meaning computers, printers, even software used for education. And these are great family planning tools, so huge education bills don't sneak up on us later down the road. Now, there are drawbacks to these accounts. Like most accounts, there are rules on qualified versus non-qualified withdrawals. And investment menus are plan-based and they're not really fully customizable, but that doesn't mean they're bad. The Fidelity National 529 plan has an aggressive growth portfolio index fund that brings in, on average, between 11 and 23% returns, especially with how great the market's been in the last few years. It leans towards the higher side. Number 7, UGMA and UTMA custodial accounts. If the goal is investing for a child, there are custodial accounts like the UGMA, or Uniform Gifts to Minors Act, and the UTMA, UTMA, Uniform Transfer to Minors Act. Brokerages like Fidelity and Vanguard explicitly list UGMA and UTMA brokerage accounts or taxable investments accounts with no contribution limits. It's pretty awesome. A portion of any earnings from a custodial account up to $1,350 in 2026 may be exempt from federal income tax, and a portion of any of the earnings in excess of the exempt amount may be taxed at a child's tax rate, which is generally lower than ours. So you're also able to transfer existing shares of stocks, mutual funds, other securities from your own account into these. At Fidelity, the UGMA and UTMA brokerage accounts offer a wide variety of investments, including stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, options, CDs. They have a ton of options. To open one, it is very simple, like a normal brokerage account, and can be done through a quick online process. The adult custodian opens the account for a specific child. We as the adult then put money into the account and choose the investments. That's it. And when the child reaches a certain age, generally between 18 and 25 years old, depending on your state, assets and control of the account must be transferred to them. So just know that going into it. Now let's cover who qualifies. An adult custodian opens it up for the minor beneficiary. Anyone can contribute to a custodial account. Parents, grandparents, friends, and other family with no contribution limits. Now let's cover the pros for this account. So we've already talked about the benefits of this account, but I'll just summarize it real fast here. You or family can easily invest for a child, and they are very flexible. It is not limited to education like a 529 plan. Now, there are drawbacks or cons to this type of account. You can impact your financial aid calculations depending on the situation later, less tax advantage than a retirement or education accounts. And then you have assets generally become the child's at adulthood under the rules. This generally becomes more important if you're worried about a child heading down a rough road. Them receiving a giant sum of money may not be the greatest option. Many platforms nowadays are starting to offer cash management accounts, and it's not the main investing account you'll use, but it can be part of a good system for parking cash and organizing your goals. Fidelity includes cash management accounts as an option alongside your brokerage account. They offer ATM fee reimbursement. If you use the government money market fund account, you earn higher interest rates equal to many of the high yield savings accounts out there. They even have a 2% cashback credit card with no annual fee and ties straight to your CMA. So it's super cool because you can invest your rewards in any of the accounts, like a brokerage account. You can put the rewards into your Roth IRA or your children's 529 plan. It's pretty cool. And then Charles Schwab also has their own cash account where your money can be invested in money market funds or even treasury ETFs. These types of accounts are great if you want to mix your banking seamlessly with your investments. Okay, now that we know about all these different types of accounts, let's go over the simplest account ladder, which is what to open first and where to start placing your money. Now, every person's situation will be a tad different, but let's put these all together into a clean order that makes sense. If someone is starting from scratch and wants the simplest path, it usually goes like this. Number 1, your employer-sponsored plan, because you want to get that match if it's offered, because it's free money. And if you are self-employed and your business income is consistent, this would be a great place to begin for you. Number 2, then after you invest up to the match of your employer-sponsored plan, your next best bet is your Roth IRA, if you're eligible. Most of us earlier in life will have a lower tax bracket, so we want to pay the taxes now when we know them and let the money grow tax-free for retirement. After you invest in your Roth IRA, if you still want to invest more in your employer-sponsored plan, this would be when you go back to max out your retirement accounts, unless you want to spread the rest out over the next few accounts. Number 3, since it has triple tax advantages, an HSA is a powerful tool if you're eligible. We know as we age, our medical expenses tend to be higher than when we were young. So this account fits that purpose. Now, if you don't have an employer-sponsored retirement plan and are worried that your IRA won't be enough, This brings us to number 4, taxable brokerage accounts. This is where they come into play. It doesn't have any particular tax advantages, but it can still help if you want to retire earlier than 59 and a half or put your money to work where you can have it in case of emergency. And number 5, 529 plans or custodial accounts. This would be next if you're wanting to make it a priority to invest for your children. And that's it. If this video helped clear things up for you, hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. Like I said before, I am just a guy on YouTube, and this is a very simple rundown. I'm a financial coach, not a financial planner. So if you're looking for a more personalized plan for your investments, I highly recommend going and finding a CFP, a certified financial planner, or a CHFC, a chartered financial consultant. They are fiduciaries. They have to act in your best interest and they are very good at setting up plans, especially for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.